Now this is a bog. Wait, hang on. I completely lost my
No, this is a bog.
Now this bog that I can't even say it. Shut up.
This is real bad.
Say bog. Now this bog. Just keep filming. Just keep keep it
Okay,
rolling.
alright.
Just let me. Say bog. Stop laughing. Stop laughing.
You're making it worse.
Bog. I'm just trying to get through the intro. Now this bog here is actually home to a very special animal. Shut up! I almost got through it. Now this bog here is home to a very special animal. This is actually the furthest south that this particular animal lives. Now I'm going to be going around here flipping these logs, walking through the water, and seeing if I can spot it. This is a really cool habitat and not somewhere where I've actually been a lot, so this is going to be really cool. And this is also going to be a new animal for me. Let's go. Now what I'm really looking for in particular are logs that are kind of halfway submerged / kind of close to the water. That's where I'm going to find exactly what I'm looking for, and there's not really that many in this little circle, which is interesting. You'd think there'd be a lot more with how many trees there are. Not too many big trees here either. These little wetlands are actually pretty scarce in this part of the state, which means what I'm looking for is also very scarce in this part of the state. Now I do have to watch where I step through here, because if there's like a sinkhole of a tree, like a tree that rotted out, then I could fall straight through that, and this water is freezing. I know it doesn't look like it, but it's freezing. Oh, check this out. This is it. This is exactly what I'm looking for, actually. Eggs. Those are salamander eggs. Check it out, here's another one. That one's actually kind of out of the water a little bit. Look at that. Wow. That's really, really great. That's exactly what I want to see. The Meyer wetlands of South Mississippi are home to some incredible animals. And on this sunny winter day, my aim is to find the spotted salamander, a locally rare species of salamander here in South Mississippi that only comes out for 1 month out of the year. Slimy. Hey, bud. They do not call them slimies for nothing. But Mississippi slimies don't just live in this state. They actually live in many different states. They live in Louisiana, Alabama, all those good places. They're a really cool species. You can see they've got all that little speckling, that white speckling on them. It's just really cool. This is actually a lungless salamander species. They can live in pretty much any habitat. Obviously this is amazing habitat, so there's going to be quite a few of them here. But they can live anywhere. They can live back further away from the water. They can live in upland areas, lowland areas, pretty much anywhere. Got more of a rounded tail there. They are a lungless salamander species, so they're going to be taking a lot more oxygen through their skin, and they're going to be that more thinner build that lungless salamanders typically are. Definitely not what we're looking for, but really cool to see. We're going to go ahead and put him back and keep looking for more. Yeah, frog. What is he doing? You have not escaped, my friend. You're visible. Ah! Ah! Alright, now he's escaped. He was just sitting out. Amphibians do love the winter. It's interesting. You can see salamanders in the water like that too. Same way, just out. It's crazy. Spotted! Look at that! Oh my gosh! Very edge of his tail. Can you see him? Look at that. Barely see him. Is he down a burrow? No, he's good. Wow, that's harder to spot than I thought. You'd think those bright spots would be. Look at him. Wow, that's a big salamander, actually. Holy smokes, look at that! That is exactly what I was looking for here. That is a spotted salamander. Have a look at that. That is a nice one, too. Oh my goodness. Now, this is one of the most southern, really, populations. I don't even want to say like habitats. This is the most southern population. They get more common really the more north you go, is what I've found. But there are some solid populations of these in Mississippi. They're just really spread out. Now one thing that's really cool is I can actually tell that this is a decent sized female who has recently laid eggs. And I can tell that because you can kind of see her stomach there. She kind of like looks deflated. So these salamanders have been laying their eggs in these pools recently, and hopefully those are going to be hatching out pretty soon. This is a pretty nice size one, maybe 4 or 5 inches long. I mean, it's a nice size salamander. These guys are pretty big. They look very similar to a tiger salamander with that head. Now these are a species of mole salamander, which means they're mostly going to be spending their time underground. In fact, you can only find these salamanders in the state of Mississippi at least 1 month out of the year, which is really the coldest month out of the year. Between February and January is when you're typically going to see these animals. Now you can actually see them on the road at night during a rain. You can see them under logs during the day, and at night you'll see them swimming around these pools, which is probably the coolest way to see one of these salamanders. You can be walking through here and they'll just be swimming through here like a fish. It's really cool. Oh, I'm sorry, bud. Now, a population of salamanders in this area would probably be home to a good 100, maybe even a few thousand salamander individuals. However, this habitat is super sensitive. If some chemicals ended up in here, if somebody ended up taking a few dozen or 100 of them, if anything happens to a clutch of eggs one year, it can be really bad for the population. And like I said, this is the furthest south population, really, that's well known. Look at him, he's moving now. You're only going to see these salamanders move really well when they're wet and when it's really kind of chilly. So like it's been dropping into the 30s and 20s at night. Even though it's in the 60s right now, it's been getting pretty cold here. So these salamanders are on the move. And you can see here, she's definitely moving a lot. Spotted salamanders, easy to see where they get their name. They're covered in big yellow spots. The only salamander you could really confuse these guys with would be a tiger, which tigers are even less common in most of their range, unless you go out west. That is just such a cool salamander. They mostly eat worms. They're not a super toxic salamander. Most salamanders have some level of toxin in their slime, but I mean, a lot of things could eat this. Birds, other salamanders, snakes, anything really. Well, that is just super cool. Amazing salamander to get to see out here. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to check out the one we did with the mole salamander over in South Louisiana. That's all for today, and we will see you guys next time. Alright, we're going to go ahead and let the salamander go back under its log. And we're just going to put her back like that. Maybe she'll find her way back under her log. There you go, baby.